much for that. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Good stuff. March 11th. Well, let's take it from here and say let's get into the intel a little bit and see what we can talk about tonight, and see if we can try to figure out how far this thing is from us, because I do believe it's close. I do believe we have good indications that we might just be right where we need to be right now. But let's go back, and we said that Iraq was basically done, and they have been done, and they've been operating at a new rate, and all of that in country is really, really good. They haven't really put out to the rest of the world what that rate is yet, which is a little surprising. But I think they're waiting to do that, to be perfectly honest, until we get the go-ahead to get started with our exchanges. Seems like it's going to be triggered by that. I know their CBI website sort of changed hands on the 31st of December from the U.S., and I think we had it based in Houston. I had one in New York. That website was shifted back to the control of Iraq and in Baghdad, so they have the control of it now. And my understanding is that the website is in Arabic, of course, which it should be, but without the English version or translation with that. And so that is a little different. So we're kind of looking for that, saying, okay, when is it going to come up in English? We were not able to get our Arabic-speaking helpers to check that out and give us a heads up on whether or not the rate was there on the website or not. I'm sure with as many listeners as we have out there, somebody will find out if that is the case or not, whether they have the new rates as they are posted in Arabic or not. My inclination is to think maybe not, but we do know that they do plan to receive deposits to the CBI and to their sort of affiliate member banks for the exchange process starting next Sunday, the 7th of January. Now, I don't know that that means anything too specific for us, but I do think it means that they will, in my opinion, what this seems to mean is that if we were to exchange before then, those deposits of the dinar would be deposited. In other words, hold that until the 7th, and then they can be deposited on the 7th into the CBI. I'm not quite sure of the mechanics of that, how it actually is happening, whether it's doing something physically with the dinar or whether it's just doing it digitally. But, we've always thought once upon a time that the dinar, once it was turned in or exchanged by us, that it would either go to the Treasury, and the Treasury might take it, enter the information digitally, and then, of course, maybe even shred the currency. I think that's probably what might happen. At least that's what we used to think. Can't tell you right now if that's still the case. But the fact that they've got something, and it is translated, or at least we had a translation of what they said on the site today about that, is good. It's good. It tells us they're talking about exchanging. It tells us they're talking about working with their member banks and other exchange centers that have been, essentially legally set up for that purpose. And it was kind of cool to read that. So I would say Iraq is and rolling right now. I think they're moving forward and getting everything done from that perspective. What was it? There was another celebration, I think, that might have been just dealing with New Year's. I don't know. It seems like it was a day or two ago over there. So that might have been what that was. I would just say, even though it seems strange because our New Year, I don't know that that's the same as what they're celebrating, but I would say that we are really getting some information that is pointing us toward the redemption centers being prepared for this exchange process here pretty shortly. By that I mean the information that I've received this afternoon is indicating that the control of the contacting of the redemption center personnel, or staff as we tend to call it, has been sort of shifted to another individual who will contact people that are sort of regionally directing what is going on throughout the United States with that, and then they will notify the staff members by phone through this phone chain type of system, and be able to let them know. I believe that it already has occurred to where they're prepared for whatever the timing is supposed to be. And I've heard different things about the timing. I have heard some things, and there's sort of things out there, I guess you guys probably have seen it too, maybe on the blogs, I don't know, that are pointing toward, things happening more or less now or tonight. I can't say that that's absolute by any means, but I would say that there's information pointing toward it. Now, otherwise, there's this thing with the CBI. It's sort of a chicken and egg type of argument. I know our U.S. Treasury is working closely with the Central Bank of Iraq, and it may be that the CBI's changeover, if you will, or revealing of the new rate on the Iraqi dinar may be controlled or somehow indicated by our U.S. Treasury. I know they're working closely, and there may be something to that. So I think it's a matter of jockeying for position, and hopefully this is going to release to us fairly soon. I'm trying to think if there's anything out regarding the. My understanding, guys, is the NDAs that are out there are not really the long NDA at all. I understand it's about a page and a quarter to a page and a half, nothing longer than that. I will tell you that there was one other thing I wanted to talk about regarding, the rates have just continued to be good for us, very good. I'm sure some are still climbing up, and I don't know whether they're being traded exactly right now like they were. I will say that the Forex was supposed to come up with the new live rates at 2:30 in the morning this morning, but I don't know that. My understanding is that has not occurred, and I don't know really why. So I'm going to look at this for just a second. Just one moment. Okay. I really feel like the Forex, obviously, if the Forex had come up at 2:30 in the morning with live rates and we could see it, then, everybody would be pretty much there. He'd be there. So the fact that it did not come up and show this morning at 2:30 in the morning, that indicates that they're still not quite ready. It may mean that they're continuing to trade the currencies to get them to the exact position, but our understanding is that the rates were showing and may still now be showing live on the banks. I just can't tell you for sure. But I know that we're getting awfully close. I really do think so. Yesterday being Monday, and being a holiday as New Year's Day, was not going to be a day, of course, for banks to be open. So today, being the first banking day of the week in the U.S., with today being a Tuesday, was sort of like the bank's Monday. And on Monday, they're taking their Saturday business and going through that. And so the theory is, well, nothing ever really happens on a Monday. Well, in today's case, I would say a lot of things have happened on a Tuesday, but we just did not get started on a Tuesday. So I guess what I'm saying is consider today sort of like Monday and tomorrow like a good day to consider maybe for a start. We'll have to see if that happens. I have heard things like you guys have probably heard so many times that this is our week, but I do know that is supposedly where we are, and I'd say I feel good about that, and I did feel good about some additional information I got maybe an hour before the call tonight. So I'm excited about where that is. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Rates, like I said, are all solid, really good. Thinking there was something about the Zim. I just think we're going to be in great shape. I know that the screen rate for the Zim, my understanding is it's going to be, well, way better than what some people are thinking that it's going to be. And I think that's going to actually be the case, the actual screen rate on dinar and dong. And I think there might be some other currencies that will come up and surprise us. I was told that the Vietnamese dong is sort of the sleeper, and I think it might be. I've always felt that it could be. And nothing's going to touch the Zim. We know that. But the dong's going to do really well. It's going to do better than we thought. I know that. And the dinar's going to be just stellar. And I don't know what's going to go on with the Rial right now, with Iran sort of in their situation now. I don't know. I understand that all sanctions came off all countries last night at midnight. And that's interesting. I think they're getting ready for this GCR to show. They really are, to manifest. And, it couldn't happen at a sooner time for us, of course. Here we are in the beginning of the year of Jubilee, a year of debt forgiveness. We may see some of that. You guys know what I'm referring to. We may see some of that. I'm not sure exactly how soon, but it may be something that we'll be able to witness for ourselves and know it. The irony of it is, those of us who are involved in this scenario with currencies, after the fact, we're really not going to need the debt forgiveness, because any debts that we would have, we could easily pay off without a whole lot of thought. So it's going to affect really everybody else that was not involved in this more than it would us, that's for sure. As far as humanitarian projects are concerned, you guys know we're still planning to go strongly with the Veterans Retreat Network, as well as the Rebuild America program. But I think what I'm going to do in some ways is have some crossover between the veterans and building new homes for veterans as part of our Rebuild America. I think that's going to be one of the first things we're going to try to do through Rebuild America, is involve ourselves in building homes or rebuilding homes for veterans. And that way we can get, hopefully we can get, any veteran family that needs a home, and then also obviously veterans that are homeless or on the street, get them squared away with streets to retreat, and then pull them off the street and give them a place to stay and get sort of integrated back into society. And I want to do that. I want to get, we're gonna have various programs, guys. I'm excited. I'm excited about the VRN. I'm excited about what we're going to do with equine therapy, for the vets and for families, and also for, canine therapy as well, and job training. And, guys, I'll tell you one thing. I don't see where we would ever have an unemployment problem for vets if they're able-bodied and can move around a little bit and you know, can take a job, because we're going to have a lot of jobs that are going to need a lot of people. And we're going to need people in trades. And maybe some of our vets will need, retraining. Maybe they'll need to be trained in some of the job skills that are out there that maybe they weren't trained for in the military. And the ones that were trained in some of the engineering jobs and other things like that, we're going to have positions for them, man. You got to believe that. We'll be hiring a lot of people, guys. We'll be hiring a lot of men, a lot of women, and getting this Veterans Retreat Network established. And then not only that, but just the Rebuild America thing is going to be really big, and I'm excited about that. And I really feel like with the idea of doing some infrastructure, which we will do, we could have bonds available that we can buy, that we can use to go directly to infrastructure. So I think the idea of a private-public partnership, from our viewpoint, is a no-brainer. I would think that we need very little, if any, government dollars to put interest rate to be effective. They can just be tax exempt, maybe, or pay something, and then we'll have a lot of money that can go to infrastructure. They might be on the ocean. They might be right there, and they just need a desalination plant to get going. Concept in doing that. And I know for one I am, and I know you guys are too. Well, I would say, guys, just like Pastor Stephen said earlier, this is a time to be confident, a time to have faith, and a time to continue to believe and be strong in what you believe, and just stand fast. Having all to do, what are we supposed to do? Stand. And that's what we're doing. We're standing in faith, believing for this to come through, and we know it is, and it's just a matter of God's timing, bringing this to us in the perfect time. So, with that said, I'm going to just say